Yo, we live, baby. We live.
Now we live. Live.
Dang, loud. You turn you down.
Am I loud like that, bro?
In my ear, I had it turned up.
See, I don't got the. I got the over. I don't got the fancy. Custom.
Yeah. I got the in ear, so I had to turn. I had to turn it down. You know, I got the Ace Kennedys jumping off. You know what I'm saying?
Bro. Oh my god. So, listen, bro. If you didn't already be killing me with your custom lighting, trying to keep it sexy over there, I saw somebody say, "Hey, boy, Ace got the purple lighting going on." I'm like, what?
Yeah, the purple rain lighting going on.
Hella R&B over here. I'm like, that's what y'all R&B boys do, man. I'm thinking it wasn't enough that, you know what I'm saying, that your lighting is crispy. It wasn't enough that you gotta add the ambiance with the purple on there. I said, oh, my dude is just
extra
R&B, right? Extra,
very extra
with the R&B though, man. Extra with the R&B though, man. Hey, you know what though, man? This week's been interesting. I know that we probably say that almost every episode like it, but this week has been very unique. What's been good with you, man?
Bro, this homeowner thing is for the birds. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Got a whole bunch of stuff jumping off. I ain't even finna get into it, but yeah, being a homeowner, bruh, you got stuff to do. And this was that week. But what was the best thing you saw this week, man?
Oh man, you know what? So I had three. Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. This week has been pretty doggone cool. So
well, let me get mine out the way then, since you got a list.
Oh yeah, I got a couple things, bro.
So the best thing I saw all week was Jordan Lucas and Will Smith did the remix to the song, bro.
I saw that today, and it was
Will got bars, bro.
Still got it, man. I was
still got it.
Thoroughly impressed. I mean, put it like this. I thought that it wasn't forced. I don't think that he was trying to do the new style rapping.
It just felt like it fit. It felt like it fit. It was like there.
I agree. I saw that just today.
Yeah, it was dope, man. I thoroughly impressed. Always impressed by Jordan Lucas. So him and Will together, it's crazy. I hope it's not the last time they work together.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. So let me tell you what's funny, man. So for me, I gotta be honest. So coming from somebody who is trying, to be heavy in the music biz, right? I thought that it did my heart very good, man, to hear that the boy Nick Cannon officially graduated from Howard University, though, man. I thought that was pretty dope, though, man. Seeing that, as a grown person, right, who's finished up college in the midst of trying to do work and everything like that, I definitely take my hats off of him to be someone who's a millionaire who still, found it to be important for him to be able to go back and finish school when he didn't have to. You would think like NBA players, they go to college for a couple of years, go off, make millions, and you would think, well, what's the point of you going back? You'd have made the money and everything like that. But I thought it's dope that the homie went back, did the commencement speech for Howard, though, man. It wasn't like a publicity stunt that he was going to Howard. I think that he was, if I'm not mistaken, doing his podcast from Howard. So real dope, man. I can only imagine, going back to school right now. It's probably the reason why I haven't tried to go for my master's and nothing like that, though, man.
I ain't doing it, man. I'm grateful that you and I both have our bachelors, and we got to be at each other's graduations for that.
Absolutely.
But man, my girl Sarah, bro, she got her foot on my neck, man.
Oh, you trying to go back?
I'm not trying to go back. That's not it. But she, so I got an invitation from the University of Phoenix to basically be a part of the National Society of Leadership and Success. So I've started my orientation, about to do my leadership day, and I'm in that. So yeah, she was like, nope, you got to do it. So I'm doing it.
Let me tell you what's funny though, bro. I was close to getting my master's. Let me tell you what, the reason why I didn't get my master's is because I went a very non-traditional way when it came to school. So right. when you came to my graduation, right? So when I graduated from Troy, shout out to all the alumni at Troy, right? When you came there And when I was walking, bro, I saw all of these black women mainly with their master's program, and all of them had their little special gown task and all this other stuff. And I was thinking like, yo, and while I was just glad to be getting my bachelor's, I saw that it was like that next level that, you know what I'm saying, like while we was there, because, you know, it took me 10 years to finish up my bachelor from, you know, moving out to Atlanta from Killeen, having to basically start from scratch, only being able to go part-time and everything like that. And then I'm seeing these fairly young black women all lined up with all these special little accolades and everything on there. It's dope. But hey, shout out to Chris Top, man. My boy.
I was just about to say that. Because he gets, you know what he texts me. He said, "Oh, you got your bachelor's? Well, I gotta go back and get my master's now." He was trying to
listen,
Chris Top.
Chris Tops, everybody. My boy Chris Weston, my little brother Marcus, man, he got his master's. And before, I did have some pride in that, you know, at the time, you know, for us, I think that we were the first ones in my family to, you know, graduate college and everything like that, though, man. And so Marcus went ahead and got his master's. I think his wife got his master's. My sister got a master's. But I think that for me, I think if I didn't go the path that I did, I would have rather went back to back. But seeing that I had to go that route, it may change my mind. I am looking to go ahead and get my project manager certification. That's provided this Bel Air 2 don't get us over the hump.
Right.
The Bel Air 2, listen, I was prepared when I dropped the Bel Air 1. I said, bro, I'm thinking to myself, this is going to be it. I'm leaving corporate America, bro. I ain't worried about another thing. Yeah, I was ready. I was thinking like, I'm going to give myself 3 months. Me and my boy Ace, we about to hop on this tour and we straight. And I'm looking and I was like, and it didn't happen. But the Bel Air 2.
It's going to happen.
The Bel Air 2 might be that one though, man. So
what up, Mark? What up, Renata?
Absolutely. But shout out to them folks, though, man. Like I said, going back to school is no joke when you've gotten out of the flow. But especially I saw that with Nick Cannon having already had made millions, still find it important enough to be able to tell your kids they're going to college and then be like, I did it too, though, bro, when I didn't have to.
I think for me, since I'm already in my career, plus I finished a career, I, you know, completed the Air Force. Now I'm still working for the government. And then, of course, Ace Kennedy. So I think if I didn't have that, then I would probably go back to school. So if I go back to school now, it'd probably be for something dealing with music, audio engineering, something like that. But I'm masters. I'm letting the kids go ahead and take that. Yeah, and I know Sarah wants to go back, so I probably let her go or something. So
certifications definitely. Like, you know, there's a couple of little certifications that I might do, but then even with those, they cost almost the same, you know, in the realms of going back for your master's. So for me at this point, it wouldn't just be just to do an accomplishment. It would have to be something that says, hey, you know what, if you go back and you spend this whatever amount for your master's, that you're going to make back this amount of money. Like, it wouldn't be just for show for me at this point, though. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so Nick Cannon, hey man, we got a lot of stuff to get into.
Let's get it.
We chopped it up on Tuesday, man, and even by the time we chopped it on up, a lot had went by. But big things in the world of sports, bro. Had to contact the research department. So a couple of things though, bro. Last Dance. The last couple of episodes are coming to an end, man. What do you at this point, the only thing left for them to talk about is the last shot against the Jazz, that game, the flu game, basically, though, man. But aside from that, let me get your thoughts, because I know we're gonna talk again on Tuesday. But in advance of that, what are you looking forward to?
I wonder if they're gonna talk about his wife any. I mean, I know she probably didn't have too much to do with the Last Dance, but they really haven't mentioned her.
She got that guap though.
She did. But I think I would more so want to see some perspective from Phil a little bit more, especially since it is about him as well. I would like to see some more perspective from him. I also want them to get into what happened like after they won a little bit. So But I mean, and I'm sure they'll probably maybe touch some more on his dad a little bit. But other than that, I'm enjoying the ride.
Hey, so let me tell you what I think is crazy though, bro. Isn't it something though that I would want to see Phil talk about too, but only from the standpoint of, well, if you retired and the idea was that you and Jordan would go out on top, that Phil came back just a year or so later and kept playing. Like in that case, then if Phil came back, does Jordan feel like, does he feel a little betrayed, a little salty that Phil came back? Because Phil came back and still won him another three-peat, right, with the Lakers, with Shaq and Kobe. And so I wondered that, but it also tells me when you talk about, well, what happens next. So I think that I'd be curious to see them talk about, oh, well, you know what, even though Jerry Reinsdorf or Jerry Krause thought that, the team was too old, Ron Harper went on to win 2 more rings. Steve Kerr went on to win a few more rings. And all of these players that they thought were too old still went ahead and played further and won some rings, bro. I think that'd be dope.
I don't think that it's any disrespect for Phil to come back as soon as he did, because that wasn't his choice. Like, it wasn't like Phil decided to leave the Bulls. They basically said, nah, he's not returning. I don't care if he wins 82 games. So if for that aspect, that was a Jordan thing that said, hey, if he's not going to coach here, I'm not going to play here. So no, I don't think so. And yeah, if I'm any of them other players, I'm definitely trying to show him like, nah, you got rid of us too quick, bro. Like you left two chips on the table.
But I think that there are 2 episodes left, if I'm not mistaken. I think that they do 9 and 10, so 2 more episodes left of it though, man. But definitely worth checking out. So sticking with the NBA. So this is where I think is interesting. So over the this week. I saw an interview today with Chris Paul, who said on the jump, I think it was, that he is really, really, really hoping that the league would jump back and get back to some kind of resemblance of a season playoff or whatever. Just kind of said that they're just kind of cautious about how to go about doing it and what's the right way. But something that I found to be very interesting, right? So the NBA the NBA players, the top players, all the superstar players, I think there was like 10 or so, one of them came on up, and they were all on like a Zoom call to kind of show some kind of solidarity about where the players stood when it came to where they stand on going back to the league, right? Playing the season. I've always been told that I am a James Harden hater, right?
You are. You ain't as bad as Tony Parker, but yeah, you hate him.
I don't hate him like I hate Tony Parker, but I admit that I do. I hate on him. I don't hate him. I used to hate Tony Parker and hate on him, but I be hating on him. I do admit it. But I thought it was interesting that there was no James Harden, right? In that all of the players are there. Now, I bring that up to you because Russell Westbrook was there. LeBron James was there. Kawhi Leonard, who you never see anywhere, was there, right? Kawhi was there, right? And so sometime a couple of months ago, I saw Brian Windhorst, who I absolutely can't stand, by the way. He said that there was a report that most of the players don't like James Harden, right? So for me, I was like, I knew it. I knew I wasn't the only one. But I wanted to get your thoughts, one, about the solidarity, call, this big Zoom call, and no James Harden.
That's Jordan reaching. That's Jordan Space Jam reaching, bro.
You think it's a reach?
Yeah, it's a reach. Man, here's the thing. Number one, Russell Westbrook was there, so the Rockets were represented. Was Paul George there?
I don't know, but he might have been.
Was Klay Thompson there?
No, but Steph Curry was there.
That's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think you have to have all 17, all of your all-stars from your team on the Zoom call. I think it was the representation of most of the teams to have the consensus of, we still want to have another season. And with Russell Westbrook there, do you really need James Harden there?
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm trying to let this hate out, like my dude Mark said. Let the hate out here. Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that I look at that and saying, listen, James Harden know that they don't like him, right? He hasn't heard the same rumors, and he probably heard that before then, right? But even aside from that, I think James Harden's like, if they don't rock with me like that, I don't need to be up there showing, smiling, kikiing with everybody. Like, nah. which if that was his stance, I can actually respect that, because to me, to be quite honest, that would be the very Russell Westbrook thing to do, to be like, nah, yeah, I'm not gonna put up some kind of front, but I do think there's something to be said that James Harden wasn't there. If there was true that, people don't.
How we don't know James wasn't busy, bro? Come on, man. Like, again, if they got
busy during the pandemic, like, what is he busy doing,
bro? Stuff is steady opening up. Just because you want to be hoarded up in the house, boarded up, not everybody trying to do that. So my thing is that what if he scheduled a private photo shoot? What if he's invested in a company? I don't know what that man's business is, but at the same time, I'm not reading into that. That is a Jordan Space Jam reach if I ever heard one, because at the same time, his boy was already there. If you got Russ there, then you got James there. Was KD there? Snake was there?
I think KD was on there.
Okay.
And we gonna yeah. Now what? Hey, listen. And by the way, I heard that I'm not hoarded up in the house. I went out today to the UPS store to return something home. But hey, so you said KD. That brought up something. I don't think that that's a reach though. I think that there's more to that. I think that there's more to that than what you are believing, and it may not ever come out, but I definitely think there's something to it. And don't even discount the fact that Chris Paul was there. Yeah. And I think that James Harden was like, he probably was like, you know what, man, if Chris Paul there, I ain't gonna be there. Don't even worry about it. You know that makes sense though, bro. You know that makes sense.
Man, if anything, James is happy that Russ is there because he's an upgrade for Chris. That's in his opinion.
Let me talk. Let me speak. Let's talk about something. Okay.
Before you jump to that, man, I just want to shout out Mark Lane. What's up, bro? Yeah, we gotta connect, man. We gotta connect.
Yeah. Hey, listen, bro. I got a question for you.
What's up?
NBA dropped. They've been talking about the GOAT, right?
Yeah.
So they've been talking about, and to me, I think that it's Jordan by any way you want to measure, right?
Yeah.
But they talked about who are the top 100 players or whatever. So let me give you the list, and I want to get your thoughts on something here, bro. Right?
Okay.
So on the list, number 1, Jordan.
Honestly.
Number 2, LeBron.
Okay.
Number 3, Kareem.
Whoa.
Number 4, Russell. Bill Russell, yes.
Okay. Oh, I had to make sure I thought you my list.
No. Top 10, bro. Come on. Okay.
Hey, he up on my list. I know what you're talking about.
Wait a minute. Did you say Russell Westbrook is in your
top? He's on my top 10? He is.
Hold on. You mean players you like or greatest of all time?
Greatest of all time.
Boy, you better go somewhere.
Where am I going?
Oh my gosh, man. Now you about to get destroyed in these comments, and I'm a listen. Okay, let me. Okay,
hey, you already know my stance on being on my own.
Let me tell you this. Okay, listen. We said Russell, Magic Johnson, number 5, Wilt, number 6, Larry Bird, it's number 7, Tim Duncan, it's number 8, Kobe, number 9, Shaq is number 10. Let me get your thoughts before I tell you about the rest. Let me tell you about that's before we get to the other ones. Top 10. Who you got taken off the list? Or what issues do you have with it?
Well,
besides Russell Westbrook not being in your top 10 greatest players of all time.
But honestly, I don't necessarily. This is why I don't like putting together lists, right? Because everything is subjective. I don't even with you saying like, oh, how can you say Russell Westbrook is in your top 10? Because it's subjective. And again, it also too, in my opinion, it has to do with, like, I didn't watch Kareem play. So for me, that's not probably going to make my list because that's not somebody that had an impact on me per se. Now, that's easy to say and then turn around and say, well, my kids never seen Jordan, but they know Jordan is number one. But I think for this, though, you get to go back to see Jordan, especially with the docuseries that we're watching now. So
never mind that Kareem is the NBA's all-time leading scorer.
It doesn't, again, anytime when you're putting together a list, it's about the impact on the because you just like when you say, well, who's the greatest rapper, right? And if I didn't say Biggie and Tupac somewhere in the top 1 or 2 or 3, people gonna lose their mind. Like, oh, how can you say that? It's how you feel.
It's subjective.
It's subjective.
I mean, I if I was putting together a top rappers list, I'd put myself in like the top 20. These boys, they ain't getting down with me like that. Right. No, but we're talking about greatest careers, right? So when you say that Russell Westbrook is in your top 10, and you're talking
career. Oh yeah, then he's definitely top 10.
Oh my gosh, bro!
Definitely.
Oh,
Charles, name somebody. He's got the leading triple-double record. He's an MVP. He's been double MVP for All-Star. All the accolades that Russell Westbrook got. Put his only thing he doesn't have. The only thing is a championship. Other than that, you miss me.
Okay, stop. So just for the sake, I'm just gonna compare this. So do you think that Russell Westbrook is a greater player in the history of the NBA than Steph Curry?
Absolutely. All day long. Here's my thing, right? There's nobody that I've seen play with the tenacity that Jordan has than Russell Westbrook. There's nobody on earth that can convince me that he is not top 10. Yep, that's what it is. It's Westbrook all day over here. What up, Brody? Yep, go to sleep, sir. That's what you need to do. And go and dream about Westbrook. And then when you wake up, come back to reality that Westbrook, top 10 player. Career.
He's a top 10. If you listen.
Career, his career. We talking about his career. That's what you said. His career. Put his career up. What does Steph, besides a championship, what else does Steph have that Russ don't have?
This is the thing. You can't just say besides a championship like that's a small thing.
I can say that. I'm acknowledging the fact he doesn't have a championship. That's
how about how about
so the rest of his career?
Okay. Yeah. How about having being the only one of 2 unanimous MVP players in the history of the league?
Okay.
Right. Only other one I believe was Jordan.
So let me ask you a question.
No, hold on. You asked me why Steph's greater.
Okay, right? But I'm answering that point right there.
Go ahead.
Regardless of whether it was unanimous, right?
No,
does he have? Hold on, time out. Does he have an MVP like Steph has an MVP? They're both MVPs. They are both MVPs. No, they're both MVPs.
No, they know the difference. What? No,
hold on, time out. If me and you were doing music, right, and we got an award in music, we won BET awards or whatever awards you want to call it, right? Do we both have BET awards? Whether you got the rap of the year and I got the singer of the year.
That is very true. But this is the thing about it. You know what? This is the difference. The difference is you getting a Grammy for album of the year and I get Grammy for album of the year and my album sold diamond and yours sold 1 million. You got the same award, but mine just holds a little bit more weight.
Why does it hold more weight? I won the award. You won the award.
Because what made mine.
Okay, let me ask you another question. Hold on. So you trying to tell me if somebody wins the Super Bowl, as long as whoever scored the most points in the Super Bowl, that's the one that's more prestigious versus they won the Super Bowl. That's what you're saying?
The Super Bowl is a little different to me, though.
It's the same award, bro.
No, but no, because that's just like, to me, this is the thing about it, right? The reason why I say that is because you can say, oh yeah, they're Super Bowl winning quarterbacks, right? But you can't sit there and say, well, Russell Wilson has the same career as Trent Dilfer because both of them won a Super Bowl.
Didn't say that.
Levels. No. But that's what I'm saying. Like, to me, that's the reason why it's level. I think that what makes football a little differently is because I think that it takes more of a team effort for you to win a single Super Bowl, and the fact that that's almost like the reason why you see players in the NFL who you see that they say, oh, they're the greatest player, but they didn't win the ring, like a Dan Marino, right? So do you say Dan Marino is a greater quarterback, or do you say Russell Wilson is a greater quarterback because he got the ring, right? Some people say Dan Marino is the best football player I've ever seen play. Right, but right. Let's get back to this. Let's get back to this because I want to get Russ.
I'm listening.
Here's my thing. When you say that, Steph Curry redefined how you play basketball today, right? Mm-hmm. Steph Curry has probably 6 of the top 10 shooting seasons in the history of the league. And while I understand the Russell, and I'm a Russell Westbrook fan. He's my favorite player in the league to watch because of all the things that you said. But in the grand scheme of the history of the league, I don't have him there. I do have it, and that's another debate. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that because I'm going by what the research department provided me.
Well, my research department just sent me all the stuff on Russ, and like I said, his career looks impeccable to me, and it is definitely better than Steph's outside of an NBA championship.
But that's the thing. Chips.
Charlie, you talking? We said career, right? We said career.
You can't.
Okay, so again, I'm not. I've already acknowledged that he has championships. I've acknowledged that. I'm saying outside of the championship. So if you want to count the championships, then okay, we can be done talking about it. But again, I acknowledge the championships. From that and the rest of his career, Russell Westbrook has had a better career than Steph Curry.
I'm going to say
anyway. Let's finish your list, bro.
A better argument. Listen, a better argument is James Harden and Russell Westbrook. Listen, okay. Problem that I have, and maybe this is just me, right?
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with the top 10 list. One of the things that I've always had an issue with, and maybe this is just me, I've always had a problem with ranking Tim Duncan as high as people do, right? And it's not because he played with Tony Parker either. I think that the problem that I have with Tim Duncan is that while I understand that he got the rings, right? Tim Duncan still only averaged 19 points a game for his career, right? And he got the rings and he did everything the right way. I just thought that he's the best power forward of all time. I just think for some reason I never saw him as like a dominating person like that. Like he has some great seasons, and I think he has great. That's the only thing. So for me, I would say that even if you keep him in the top 10, because some people say he's the greatest power forward of all time, and I see that the one thing I can respect is there are no other power forwards in the top 10 list above him. I get that, right? But me personally, I would have him probably at number 10, and then I would have Shaq and Kobe above him, and whoever you want to put between them over who's who. Me personally, I would put Kobe at number 8 just to match his number 8, though, bro.
Man, I definitely would have Shaq way higher. I think Shaq is just one of those players. Like, don't get me wrong. Again, this is why it's so subjective, because you can, excuse me, at any given moment in time, it's kind of interchangeable. When you think about, like, if you put together highlight reels, it'll be like, oh, dang, I forgot about that. Oh, I forgot about that. And Shaq was just dominant, bro.
I think that the one thing that told me the most, I mentioned this on the last show, is the fact that Shaq was ranked when he was 23 years old, and they did the top 50 players. He was in the league for 3 seasons and made the top 50 list in 3 seasons. Like, they knew that he was already one of the greatest players of all time after 3 seasons. So I think that those players in itself, I think the one thing that I can respect about the list, those top 10, is that they put Bill Russell higher than what a lot of people typically do. And to me, that means that someone who made the list put a premium on the championships, right? Yeah. So here's where the list gets a little controversial, right? So number 11, Big O, Oscar Robertson.
Yeah.
Right. Number 12,
the one who Russell Westbrook passed. Oh,
right.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Right. Who's ahead of Russell Westbrook on this list. Hakeem Olajuwon, number 12.
Okay.
Number 13, and the greatest players of the history of the NBA, Steph Curry. Right behind Steph Curry, Kevin Durant. Behind Kevin Durant at 15, Dr. J, followed by Jerry West, followed by Karl Malone, followed by Moses Malone, followed by Dirk, followed by KG.
See.
What you think? No, besides no Russell Westbrook.
I mean, yeah, I can see it. I can see it. I mean,
What you think about Steph being over KD? Do you agree with that?
I agree.
Why?
Because of championships.
You just told me that don't matter when the comparison of Russell and Steph.
Well, you're looking at both of them can shoot, right? Now, the reason why I say that is because, first of all, I like KD as a better player than I do Steph. I like Steph too, but at the same token, I just think that if I'm looking at championships, MVPs, what they mean to teams, like changing a franchise, I don't think you could take Steph Curry and put him in a situation and he necessarily changes the ultimate dynamic of the team. Whereas KD, I think you could. Why you leaning back? What I say now?
Okay. I think that you can. So to me, this is when I say that, right? The reason why I say that, I'm okay with Steph being above KD, only from the standpoint that, so when I look at it, right, Steph had his rings before KD came. Now, granted, this tells you how great LeBron is, that Steph had his rings, right? It still means something to me that KD left and went and got his first rings with Steph. But if he didn't join Steph, he probably wouldn't have had those rings, and he should have had the rings. So the fact that you can't beat Steph the first time when you should have had them down 3-1 and go ahead and do the thing, I think that that's enough. But I think the big thing to me about it is that when you say you can't build around Steph, I think that that's where I look at it differently. Because to me,
no, not build around Steph. Like for instance, right? You look at Golden State's record. First of all, Mark, I'm not upset about KD leaving, bro. I'm not at all. Not at all.
You feel the same way about KD leaving as I probably feel about about James Harden, bro.
No. Here's
bring it up every chance you get.
Yeah, but I bring it up as a bit. It's not that I'm really mad at KD. I was mad at the time because of how he left and where he went. That was the only thing. But once it happened, it was done. I was happy we had PG. I like the squad we got now. That's not even it. What's up, Dennis? But the thing is that this is what I'm saying, right? When it comes to look at Golden State's record before this season was over, right? You put Steph in there. Yeah, did they win a game, or did they even win a game?
They got a couple games. Steph only played like maybe 2 games.
Yeah. So, but what I'm saying is, I think that the difference, right? When you put KD out there, people actually thought that they might have had a chance to come back to beat Toronto. So I'm saying
no. I believe personally, right? Personally, I believe that if Klay Thompson didn't get hurt,
yeah,
I thought they would have beat the Raptors without KD. I firmly believe that they would have beat them regardless. Now, with that said, if they had KD, I think they would have washed him. I thought if they would have had KD, they would have swept them. And I think that the reason why I say that is because when you have all 4 of them out there, I think that all 4 of them allow each other to be more of what they are, right? So I think that the difference to me when you have Steph is that Steph range is when he walks into the door. So you got to guard and account from him from the time he crosses the court to the logo, right? And so all of that underneath stuff, right, gives KD those shots, all those in those baskets that come from, the key and below all of those, KD have more freed up because you got to respect Steph's range. I think that the same reason why Klay Thompson is open as much, the reason why you don't have to run plays for them too, because you literally have to follow them everywhere and everything below opens up. It's the reason why Andre Iguodala was, even though he had only got the finals MVP from stopping LeBron from averaging 40, was just because he scored more points, because at the moment, Steph, and you have an account for him, opens up everything. And I think that you can put Steph on any team and all of that. If you have another guy, he's going to average high numbers, though.
Let me ask you this question, right? So let's just say, for the sake of what we talking about, let's say you either put KD or Steph on the Bulls. Which one's going to have a better season with the current roster?
With the current roster, I think that they'll average about the same. I think that both of them will average about 26, 27 points a game. And here's the thing. The Bulls roster isn't this Bulls roster isn't trash. They're just young. That's the reason why I think about that. You think that if you're saying keep this roster and you keep Zach LaVine, then I think that, yeah, they would average, both of them would average about 20, maybe 29, 30 probably. But I think that they're going to put up about the same numbers. But here's the difference, though. I think that if you put both of them on there, then I think that allows both to be more of who they are. So you can't look for one with the double team. You got to account for them the whole way. Yeah. But here's what I think. This is what I do think is interesting. I do think that it means something to the people who put this list together, though, that says, hey, you know what? KD didn't have his rings before he got with them. Now, here's what I think is interesting, though, right? So I think that on this list, I've always thought that Dr. J, because he probably didn't have the numbers, I thought that in terms of his overall greatness, all of the players who I saw that came before Mike would always say that Dr. J was like the Michael Jordan before Michael Jordan in terms of, you know, the guy that everybody wanted to be like. I just thought that in terms of like his greatness, I don't think you can necessarily quantify it with numbers. Here's one thing that I'm surprised about. This is just not to go through the whole list. Yeah. Right. These are some highlights that I thought was pretty interesting, though. So at number 40, now I can tell you that Russell Westbrook didn't make the top 40. So
on that list,
on this list, Russell Westbrook isn't. CP3 is at number 40.
Well, right? You know, CP3 is my dude.
CP3 is at number 40, right? Patrick Ewing is number 37. James Harden is at number 32. Isaiah Thomas is 31. Steve Nash is 30.
Is Jason Kidd on the list?
Jason Kidd is on the list. I think Jason Kidd is like 39, 38 or something like that.
I mean, it's an interesting list. And like I said, at the end of the day, it's subjective.
AI 29. This is why this is where I take issue with the list, right? Where I start to take the issue. Kawhi Leonard is 25 on the all-time list. He got a couple of rings. I get it. Scottie Pippen is 21, which in the grand scheme of all the other players before him, I get, right? But I guess what I have a problem with is that Giannis, who I like to watch play, is at 27, above Allen Iverson, right? Above Steve Nash, above Isaiah Thomas. I like Giannis. But in the history of the NBA, I don't see him as a greater player than Isaiah Thomas.
Well, I think that's because he don't have a championship yet.
I get that. So I'm not saying that you have to put somebody, because Charles Barkley is high on the list and he didn't get his, doesn't have a championship. But I just think that when I think of impact on the league, I don't see. I just think Isaiah Thomas had a greater impact. But that's it. But I thought this was interesting. I don't think that there were any snubs, but I think that in terms of
watching.
Yeah, well, I think you might be the only one that might put him in the top.
That's all right. That's all right. I got you, Brody.
Oh my gosh, dude. I can't believe you said that. Listen, so entertainment wise though, bro, funny stuff going on, man. So
hey, hold on. We gonna talk entertainment. If we gonna talk entertainment, what's up with your boy Tekashi 6ix9ine?
Oh my gosh. Dude.
Yes. Gotta talk about it.
This is your boy. This is your boy because you're the one who said you would work with him.
No, he's not my boy. I just said I would work with him for what happened. The dude gets out of jail. 130 million people watch his video. What? 1.6 people on his live. Like, hey, like he said, when he tried to quote Jay-Z, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. The boy got the streams, man. He hot in these streets.
Listen, you want
number 2 song on the Billboard.
You want to quote Jay-Z. I will quote Jay-Z because I'm afraid of the future. Because y'all respect the ones that got shot. I respect the shooter. And so when I look at that and I see that him getting any kind of attention drives me crazy, bro. Because here's the thing about it. I listen. I haven't listened. I'm gonna say this. I've never listened to any of his songs. I couldn't tell you one, right?
Right, me neither.
I've heard his verse, one verse on the 50 song, Get the Strap, which I think is dope. I heard that one verse from him. And I just knew immediately that he would never be able to say anything at all that was capable of me saying, "Whoa, that was dope."
But it's not for us though.
That is my problem. That is my problem. So when you say that's not for us, right? So it makes me mad, right? That it still goes back to the antics. He pulled the biggest antic by coming out and snitching, and then comes out and says, "Yeah, I'm a snitch." And then the people say, "You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and check you out 100 million times." That's just okay. Like that. The thing to me is that, and the thing. Let me tell you what this clown does that drove me crazy, bro. I look on the Shade Room, and then he's on the Shade Room snitching again because he talking about, oh yeah, Doja Cat song was supposed to be this high. My song was number 2. Billboard is putting out fake numbers, and he's tattling dead. I'm thinking like, boy, all you do is snitch. Like New York needs to take all these New York new rappers need to be holding this L tightly until y'all deal with this. So ASAP Rocky, ASAP Ferg, A Boogie with all these new dudes who claim to be true New Yorkers, unless you're telling me that the kind of New Yorkers you hold true to be is based off of the snitching New Yorker that we've seen in movies and that we've seen to be true, like the Nicky Barneses and all these other stuff. If you're saying you're of that New York, then I will let you get the pass.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though, right? Got you amped up. Here's the thing about 6ix9ine, right? Most people probably checked out the video just to see what he was gonna say as soon as he came out.
True, I get that.
You know, so like, let me see what he's gonna talk about. Is he gonna still be talking about this gang stuff, this thug stuff? Like, is he still gonna be doing all that? Is he still gonna be doing the antics? And of course, in his brain, he looks at it like, oh, they still want to see me, so they still care. They still, and so then now, you know. But the other thing is, he's had to move 2 times within the last 3 days. Listen, you know what I'm saying?
The thing that makes me mad about this, though, right, is that I listened to my dude Toby out of Houston, bro. Dope rapper. Does a lot of the same things that, not the same way, but a lot of the same things that I think that we try to do, right? Does his own music, does his own videos, does his own everything, has his girl on the records, has his girl in the videos, it's all everything, right? Super talented. Like Toby to me is like that dude, right? Toby is super nice. And then I see them basically showing wild love to someone who violated like the code of all codes when it comes to rap music. And when it comes to my I guess my problem with that is that, like I said, I would never be one to tell you that I'm a gangster, right? And anybody who knows me know that I ain't no gangster. But at the same time, anybody who knows me to stay true to what I believe. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm true to my word. At the end of the day, I look at it like this. I understand that, you know, he was doing crimes and everything like that. And then he tries to say like, oh, you know, these weren't, you know, people who was real. These weren't whatever.
They slept with my baby mama. I
don't care about that. I don't care. Listen, bro, if me and you decide that me and you are going to live a life of crime, right? And both of us get caught, unless me and you said, listen, if we both get caught, it's every man for himself. Say whatever you have to say, do whatever you have to do, right? If we make that agreement, then I can't blame you for snitching. But if me and you come to a deal that we're gonna do crimes and call ourselves a crew, if one of us get caught, that's it. You keep your mouth closed and you deal with whatever. My little brother told me, who man, free my brother CJ, A1 to Don, told me that dudes will do the crime with you, but don't want to do the time with you, bro. And I have a problem personally. I don't have a problem with him. I guess I have a problem with the fact that, you know, that I have a problem with the amount of tension. Like, you know, like, is this really what makes me mad about it though, bro, is that you got some people who, you know, you try to keep up with the times and keep up with, you know, sounding current and for the sake of getting a new listener's ear. But is this who you really are? You're trying to get the attention as a seasoned MC, right? You are trying to get the attention of somebody who condones and okays snitching. Like, I can't fathom that, and I guess I'll never be able to. But 50 tried to justify it and say,
yeah, I heard it.
Yeah, he said most of the people who are gonna be checking from him, they don't really live by that code or whatever.
They don't.
Whatever. I get that, but to me, there's no way that I'm gonna. I guess I can't personally. New York got to hold the L. I'm looking for one of these new dudes who claim to be like an MC. I don't need Meek Mills because he didn't air out Drake the right way. I don't want to hear nobody who's seasoned. I gotta see a new New York dude ride on him on a song, shut him down, and then I'll be cool with that. But until then, like New York, they gotta hold that L to me, bro.
6ix9ine said, "Ain't nobody talking to him that ain't got that watch." That's what he said.
Man,
so
listen, bro.
He ain't trying to hear him.
He might be right. He might be right. Hey, so listen.
What's up?
Other controversy news. This isn't even so much of a new thing, but I guess it just came up because the boy Lil Boosie, there was a report that he was offered a reality TV show, right? It's very similar to Flavor of Love, the Ray J song. Not Ray J song, the Ray J show. You Got Love for Ray J, right?
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Let me stop. The boy Nerd said Dave East should be one. It got it. Mark, you're right. It has to be a Dave East, somebody like that who's holding down the flag for New York to air him out, though, bro. Good point.
And tell Dennis been listening to JJ Icy Fish anyway. Even before
gosh, man. Listen, I would listen to JJ Icy Fish before I listen to Tekashi Snitch Nine, bro.
Yeah.
Listen, Lil Boosie though. This is where it gets a little controversial, right? Because Lil Boosie is always gonna give you something. He's gonna give you a hot take. He's gonna give you something. It's the reason why Lil Boosie has more interviews with Vlad. His interviews with Vlad have gotten millions of views, and he does better Vlad numbers than any other person, right? So sometime last year, there was a report that came out, and I don't know, Boosie said that he did it, but he had basically said that for his son's 12th birthday, that he paid a woman to give his son oral head, or oral sex, and I believe also his cousin or whatnot, though, bro. I heard this was old news to me. I almost spit my drink out when I heard it the first time, right? Ace Kennedy, as someone who now has teenagers, I want to get your thoughts on this, bro.
So
12 years old. My son is about to be 11.
Layla and Carly are 12.
Yes.
Nah, bro. Listen. I am not one to say anything about how people raise their kids. That's their kids. But nah, bro, that's a little much.
And so listen. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that's an invitation, because at that point, then what's off limits? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Like like I said, I have different goals that I have set for my kids. So, and I'm not one to talk about nobody else's kids, because I mean, the same way we finna talk about his kids, we was jumping on him for talking about D Wade's kids. So
listen, man. I listen. I thought that I was in real life tears when I heard him comment about D Wade and D Wade's raising his son
Right.
as a girl, right?
I mean, that's an extreme way of saying I want to make sure that my kids stay straight. That's an extreme measure.
Is it because where does that fall? Listen, where does that fall along the line of statutory? Like, I'm not going to get into the legalities of it, right?
Right.
I just think of my son is 11, about to be 11 years old right now, right?
Right.
And at 11 years old, I think that right now, right, it's with confidence that I can say that my son doesn't have a clue about sex, right? So when you say I'm going to pay somebody to give you oral sex, are you assuming, or are you saying, well, because I know that you're already active at 12? Like, I'm not going to say that I agree with it. I vehemently disagree with it. I'm just trying to understand the psyche of it, the understand the logic of saying, is he thinking, I already know that you having sex. Let me show you what the real thing is. Like, what is I don't know. I can't imagine as a parent. I'm not gonna say I can halfway understand if his son was 18, 19, for the 18th birthday, 21st birthday. The fact that they're underage is, I don't know if I have a problem with paying somebody, or if it's the fact that they're underage, or both, right? But do you pay somebody because they're professionals? What is it? Like, I thought that when you pay for, I thought the idea, the way that I've seen it, at least in the movies, is that when you pay for it, it's because you don't got to deal with all the other stuff. You pay for it, they go on. But if you're paying for it and you're bringing it up, isn't that hustling backwards? Like, doesn't that defeat the purpose?
I don't know, man. Like I said, I couldn't even fathom.
I can't, bro. I can't. I think the thing that I'm blown away by the most, bro. I think the thing that I don't know, like, how does that work now, though, right? Like, this is, so the thing that got me is that, like I said, it's not like it's a new thing. This is something that's kind of old. Like, this is probably a year and some change old. So I'm just sitting here thinking, like, did it come up out of the blue because he has the reality show, or what? I just think that I don't know the timing of this coming on up versus it being period, right? But it goes back to your point, like what's off limits then if you'll do that?
Well, I think here's the other thing. I just think whatever if you make it public, then and you're a public figure, people are going to comment on it. I mean, honestly, if that was his practices, if that's what he wanted to do in his house and he did it behind closed doors, regardless of, all the, like we said, we're not talking about the legal aspect of it, but if that's what you decided to do for your kids, then, hey, that's on you. But as for me at my house,
my dude Mark said I won't even allow my kids to listen to music with cuss words or sex about it, bro.
That's right.
Like, but then it's like, it goes back to that whole thing, right? It's like, how much do you condemn them? Because people are still lighting R. Kelly up, right? And so, not to say that this is the same, right? But how far do you go with not supporting somebody because of stuff that's transpired outside of their music, right? Because this is something that's old, and I think that it's something that I think that he's admitted to a year ago, and even since then, I mean, people still have been rocking with him, and people I know people who are huge Boosie fans, huge, and he was out in Oklahoma like every other month doing shows out there. But even as recently after he said that, right? So I think that they'll still will be, but is that worse than snitching on somebody? Like, come on, man. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, it does question.
This just goes back to why the our era of music was different, because you didn't know the stuff. You know what I'm saying? Now that you know everything about everybody, it's just like, like you said, if you took away every bad thing that any artist has ever done, whether you like something that you morally align with or whatever, we wouldn't have any music.
Nah, that's true. Hey, so let me more entertainment wise, right? One thing that we just didn't even talk about, sports related. Dude, I can't this one hurt my heart so bad to even hear about, bro. So Miami, Florida, right? The Giants cornerback, DeAndre Baker. This is straight from the research department. DeAndre Baker, Quentin Dunbar. I believe he played for the Redskins. Now he plays for the Seahawks. So these boys are wanted for an alleged armed robbery that involved guns. So apparently the backdrop of this is that, the day before, these boys is at like a little party or whatnot, lost some money, maybe to some cards, maybe some dice, who knows. But they say these boys lost about $70,000, right? Young boys, right? These is first, second year players in the league, right? Both of them from the Miami area. They pull up, right? No mask on. These boys pull up in the Lambo as a getaway car. They pull up in the Benzes and the Beamers, looking like they fresh out of a Rick Ross video. I'm sure they had the chains on. And these boys said, nah, that 70 stacks that you took, I'm going to need that back, bro.
Run that back.
Yeah, I'm going to need that back. I can't let you walk with that $70,000 between the two of them, bro. It hurt my heart so bad to read this because these boys is 22 years old, 21 years old. They, probably from the hood and got dumped a whole lot of money. This one of the boys, DeAndre Baker, is probably like on his second year. In the NFL, you sign like those 4 or 5 year contracts, and he was making good money for a 21, 22-year-old man. And it hurt my heart to hear about this, bro. Wanted to get your thoughts on this one, man.
It's sad. I know, like, I was watching the Hard Knock Life back when it was with Cleveland, and just like the money management classes, the life skills that they try to give, but when it's off season, man, you still got to surround yourself with the right people. So, two young dudes who got money, probably thinking they're on top of the world and don't know, like your sense of reality is off when you got that type of money. Like there's just things that you can do that you couldn't do as a normal person. As a normal person, you can't just walk up and slap somebody and not worry about the consequences. Whereas somebody of that stature, if they slap you, they got the money to pay you off, or they probably got bodyguards or whatever the case may be. So, their reality is just jacked up. So they fall in this situation.
I think the thing that I was more so disappointed on, right, is that I was disappointed to the fact that when it comes to, the crowd that you roll with, because here's the thing though, right? So that means that they rolled up on these people with two people, right? I mean, not two people, there were the two cornerbacks. But there was a third car, which also tells me that, hey, they had somebody else with them. So at no point did somebody tell them, like, this is a bad idea, right? Like, when you get to that point, right? And you say that, yeah, let's just say hypothetically, these are somebody who are the yes men and they're riding along. Like at some point, do you not have the person that just says, listen, man, don't jeopardize the bag, right? And so I look at that and I immediately thought about, Jesus, man, these boys like 21. I thought about, for some reason, though, I thought about your son, Tari, right? And I thought about my dude, Damien's son, Kaiser. Young boys, oh man, still got so much of their life ahead of them. And not even just the NFL aspect of it, but the criminal aspect of this, right? I mean, armed robbery in some spots is like a minute, and even if there were no shots fired, you're talking like 7 years, 15 years in a lot of cases, though, man. So I look at that and think, like, golly, at the drop of a dime, all it takes is one bad day for some of these kids, though, man, who, you've tried to, I understand you may have grew up and that may be a regular thing and everything like that. But at the same time, though, man, you made this bread and you were providing a lifestyle that you were trying to get away from, though, bro. So Very, very, very sad. I mean, I hope for the best that that things come out to them in their favor. And while I don't necessarily condone that kind of level of violence, though, bro, I think that it's just still very unfortunate, though, man, that these young boys got out here, though, man. Like bro, when I was 22 years old, I can tell you, I was still trying to figure things out. I mean, I wasn't, I wasn't walking around with a pistol, you know what I'm saying? At the same time, I probably didn't grow up the way they did. I mean, I'm from Marlboro, man. You from Lone Branch. So, you don't necessarily have to grow up, selling dope and being in the gang to know about the lifestyle and everything like that. But I don't know, man. I think even at 22 years old, man, I think of all the people who I grew up with in Killeen that would have been disappointed in me, you know what I'm saying, if that was me doing something like that at 22. And
well, so I mean, I'm looking at it too, man. Like Tari will be 20 coming up this week. And yeah. I could not imagine him with that type of money. Like, I love my son, but nah, with that type of money at 20, nah.
Yeah,
like, and my thing is, I know I've had to have conversations with him about some stuff like, yo, bro, you might not want to do this. You don't know the consequences. So yeah, it's definitely the company, man.
Yeah, I think that the big thing about it, though, man, is that, a lot of times, bro, it's like, and that's the thing about, I know that they're young. And I think a lot of times, when people say stuff like, people show you more of who they are the minute you give them money, right? Because then they don't have any reason to not be. But I think that these guys were still just figuring it out. And the big thing about it is this, though, man. I think that both of these dudes went on to go to college, right? And one of the guys went to University of Georgia, right? And I look at that and I just still think that, it just still tells you about how your mentality either grows with you. Because, I mean, you think most of the time, most people think that you go off to college because either you're going there because you want to pursue some kind of career that requires you to have a degree, or you just go to college to be around like minds to figure out what you want to do in your life, though, man. And it just tells me that, when that happens and you go to college, right, and then you still go on to get that profession, that while you got that profession, your mentality hadn't changed it, bro. And that's 20, 22 is young, bro. Young, though. Sad. I mean, it hurt my heart to read it, though, bro. Oh, my God. Yeah. So, man. But I immediately thought about your son. I immediately thought about all of the young men, especially, that called me Uncle Charlie, bro. I think that I immediately thought about them, though, man. Like, golly. So I had to touch back on that one, though, man, because I think that NFL wise, that's been the hottest story that's been going on. Hey, we almost get out of here real quick. Any last minute thoughts here? We talked about it on Tuesday. Luda versus Nelly. Underlay, mommy, E-I. What's poppin' tonight? Now, I remember listening to that. Let me tell you this is funny. We were listening to that. Let's go. This might get us in trouble. We might have some explaining to do. I was listening to that when we were listening to that when we were in a van driving through some fields.
In the backyard,
in somebody's backyard, in a minivan.
Yeah,
about 5 people deep with the lights out, couldn't see nothing.
No, we safe. We don't got no explaining.
Okay. But I remember listening to that song to EI while we were driving down there, though, bro. So I don't even know why we were driving in backyards. That's the whole thing. Like, I don't know either, though, man.
Perfectly good roads
in a minivan, no less, right? And we was creeping in a minivan in the field. I mean, in somebody's yard, though, man. And it seemed like for a long time too, though, man. It
was a long time.
It was a long ride, though, man. In a minivan in Oklahoma City, no less, though, bro. Yeah, man. Shout out to Oklahoma and everybody who there. Shout out to everybody who's there who knows that story, about
the backyard gang. Shout out to the backyard gang.
Shout out to the backyard gang, though, man. Hey, but I'm excited about that one, man. One last thought before we get out of here on that one. Who you think? Any changes in your mind on who you got for winning?
No, I think it's anybody's games. It all comes down to placement and which songs they choose.
Give it a score. Who you think? If you had just on 20.
Okay.
You think it's gonna go
20,
15?
I'm going I'm going 11-9 Luda.
11-9 Luda. I think put like this. I think because we're limited to 10, I think it's going to be close. Whoever wins is only going to win by 2 songs. If you had to go more than that, I think Luda would get it in probably a landslide. But I think because we're limited to 20, I think Luda maybe by 2. Well, if he is allowed to play Lovers and Friend and Yeah, then I think that he'll win by 5 songs.
Yeah, I just don't think he's gonna. It's not that he's not allowed to.
I would love to see him do it.
Yeah, but he got so many other joints though.
How many though are bigger than those?
I mean, I don't know. It depends on like the Sierra joint. I don't know, man. Because Dilemma got Nelly though.
I put this. Is Dilemma bigger than Yeah?
No.
Okay, so I'm saying
that's why I'm saying it's placement though. Like it depends on what it's going up against though. That's all I'm saying.
See, this is the problem that I think, right? The problem is I think that Nelly doesn't have street records, right? That he can just that somebody who's looking for that and so once Ludacris plays like that, all I do is win verse. He got street records, bro. And I think
but where do you put like when you say Yeah and Lovers and Friends, where do you put Where the Party At though? See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get that. Where the Party At is don't be Where the Party At is dope. Like I said, the thing about Where the Party At is that I remember Nelly's verse as much as I remember the Jagged Edge singing. So that is a good point. I just think that if you put Yeah, right, and let's say if you put so the thing is, I think if Nelly plays those country songs, right? Mm-hmm. If you put those country songs, then let's say if Ludacris just says, well, if you're gonna play them, I'm gonna go ahead and hit you with Yeah. And I'm gonna go ahead and hit you with the other joint.
But I think he's gonna hit him with Baby though. If he plays the country songs or whatever like that, right? We're gonna pull out Baby.
And see, that's my thing. I think that this is where it's gonna get. So let's just say hypothetically, right? Then it's just gonna be maybe it's subjective. Do you think that Yeah, Baby, and the other joint, Lovers and Friend? Do you think those 3 songs are better than the featured songs that Nelly would play? Right. And that's going to be what I think would determine it, because then at that point, if the audience, right, if the broader audience is hip hop and R&B, right, you play them records, I think they're going to be like, man, y'all can go ahead and get this out of here, man. Ludacris got this. So
that's what I'm saying. I just think it's placement. Like it's what the response is. If I play this and then I play this, like it's got to be that back and forth, because you think about when you go back to Little John and T-Pain, right?
Let's call him Little John.
Little John. I slipped, bro. Goodness, I know the difference. But all I'm saying,
I don't know, bro. You slipping today. You said Russell Westbrook in the top 10 all time, so it doesn't surprise me.
That's the best thing I've said all podcast.
Hey, listen, bro.
What's up?
For this video, for this one, I might just try to dig up me the longest t-shirt I got and the baggiest pants I got. And go ahead and get all the way in this. I'm gonna pull my
Air Force Ones.
You know what, dude? I had one last pair of Air Force Ones, and I got rid of them like maybe 3-4 months ago. Had I known this was gonna happen, I would have saved them for this beforehand. But I wouldn't mind pulling out some Air Force Ones for this one though, bro. Yeah. So I'm excited for it. I want to see how this will do in comparison to just the sheer ambiance of Erykah Badu, Jill Scott. I'm hoping that it's more along the sides of a more turned up level of Lil Jon T-Pain, though, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Should be good.
We good, man. What you got before we get on out of here? Any shout outs?
First of all, I just want to shout out everybody in the comments. Dennis, Mark, Renata, anybody that comment. If I missed your name, I'm sorry, but everybody that's in the comments, man, appreciate y'all. I finished How to Get Away with Murder yesterday. The season finale.
I have not. I got behind one season, and I was like, I gotta watch. I got too much. Now's the time to catch up, though. So yeah.
Last season was good. Couple missteps in the finale, but overall, great series. Very happy about that. I started Westworld. I'm in season 2. It's kind of boring in season 2, but I'm gonna try to hold up. Yeah. Me and Sarah actually started. We started Upload. It's an Amazon original.
No, I haven't seen that.
It's cool. It's cool. I like it. But anyway, no, that's about it. Just wanted to let everybody know what I'm watching. You know, quarantine and still watching stuff. So.
And so real quick, man, shout outs real quick, right? So shout out to the one thing that I absolutely love, and I'm hoping that one of these episodes that we can spotlight small businesses, right? And one of the shout outs to everybody who I know who is grinding away at their small businesses with the hopes of making it bigger, especially right around now. The one thing that I can tell you, and I won't get into it until we get into that episode, but the thing that I absolutely love about being in Atlanta, right? And someone had asked me, I get asked all the time from people who want to move to Atlanta or what's it like living in Atlanta, coming from either smaller cities and everything like that. I think that the one thing that Atlanta definitely taught me about living here, bro, is that if you are a hustler, you will thrive in Atlanta. But if you're not, you'll be exposed, right? And I think that the part about that is that the hustle that I learned in Atlanta was that everybody that I know has a small business. I don't know any of my friends that I have. I don't have a single one that's in Atlanta that doesn't have a small business or is a business owner themselves. So shout out to, real quick, all the small business owners that I know. Shout out to Nikki Venus and Company, by the way. Shout out to my dude Ryan Armstrong over at Armstrong Automotive Sales, who was out there killing it. Shout out to my dude Damon Howe, who is the boss of Sim Auto. Shout out to my dude Ben Askew, who is the boss of Fresh Ape Clothing. Shout out to, who else am I missing? I know I'm missing. Shout out to my girl Shamia from Copy Fresh. Shout out to my neighbor, if they see this, who has Dropped the Scale Fitness. A lot of, right now is the time that I think that a lot of people are using to pursue those passions, and this is the time I think that a lot of people are using to feed and nurture those businesses. So shout out to y'all, man. It's the time to do it, though.
Yep, and of course, Mrs. Kennedy with her.
Shout out to Miss Kennedy and the paparazzi crew that be popping on there too.
The bling babes.
Yeah, all them bling babes and her and all the pineapples and everything, though, man. But yeah, and my brother, shout out to my brother. He's always doing something. But people who got legitimate businesses up and running, business licenses, the whole 9 yards. Shout out to y'all, man. Real talk. Hey, man, Slash Brothers, nice episode. Thank y'all for checking your boys out. Hey, we live on YouTube. Remember, 7 o'clock every Tuesday, 7 o'clock every Friday. We go live, and the boys is coming to
Eastern time.
Eastern time. Good point, though. But the boys is coming to a streaming service near you very soon, though, man. Slash Brothers, we out of here.
We out.
One love, y'all.